Всем привет, дамы и господа. Рад всех видеть на моем канале Golovin. Меня зовут Сергей. У нас продолжение Alan Wake. Третий эпизод, третья глава. Называйте это как хотите. Я называю это так. Называется она «Выкуп». Ну и, собственно говоря, нажимаем пингах.
Previously on Alan Wake,
В предыдущих эпизодах.
Alice?
You'll do exactly what I say if you ever want to see your wife again.
I can't tell anyone except my agent Barry.
Damn it, Barry, they'll kill her. You're my best friend.
Здесь у нас как в сериале.
The ransom is a manuscript I
Что было в
supposedly
предыдущих
wrote.
эпизодах.
Before my eyes.
Happened just the way it was on that page. So dark.
I have found only a few scattered pages.
I want the entire manuscript.
The deadline is in 2 days.
I found Mr. Wake's pages.
Good girl.
How the hell did she get her hands on the manuscript anyway?
I don't know. She's resourceful. I told you you were too hard on her. Listen, I found out all sorts of interesting stuff while I was digging around.
Yeah.
Mr. Wake, it's Sheriff Breaker. We have an FBI agent here, Agent Nightingale.
FBI.
He's anxious to see you. You'd better come to the station.
Okay, I'll be right over, Sheriff. Let's make this quick, huh?
Help you folks? Name's Randolph. I'm the manager.
We're looking for Rose. Works as a waitress down at the diner.
Rose, sure. Nice girl. Who wants to know?
I'm Alan Wake.
The writer, huh? I heard on the radio you were visiting. Well, I'll show you her trailer. That Rose, she's a nice girl. Always pays her rent on time.
As I was saying, Al, I found all sorts of weird stuff from the local newspaper's archives. This place is crazy. Disappearances, mysterious deaths, urban legends come true, and get this. Most
Так,
of the
ладно,
stuff
погнали
takes
за
place
этим
around Cauldron Lake.
чувачком
Well, you ain't wrong, mister. The Indians thought the lake was a doorway to the universe.
в оранжевый
The trailer
шлем.
park where Rose lives is a cozy place that recently had a bit of a shock
Чё это за
when a
чел там
sailing boat
появился,
picked up
блять?
by a tornado crashed in the middle
В
of
левом
two
углу.
trailers. This is a
А, вы
location
его не
that for a long
видите.
time looked
Или
like it
видите.
was not
Да,
going to
не
make it in the
видите.
final
Вебка его
game.
загораживает.
But I'm glad it did,
Я
because I
хуй с
think
ним.
it's one of those places that helps define the character and style of the game in a visual
Блять,
way.
какие здесь нудные
When we went out
диалоги.
photo
Чё это
shooting,
такое?
along
Форт
the
Фокус
Pacific
второй.
Northwest area, we came
Или
across many
Фиеста.
trailer parks,
Дай-ка
and,
гляну.
we have
Это
plenty of material
Фиеста.
for them. So I think that really shows in the authenticity of
Да,
this
Форт
location.
Фиеста. Ну ты чё, блядь, чел? Чё у тебя с
Yeah, how
ногой?
about that? It was there in the morning, as if it had fallen from the sky. But it would take a tornado to lift something like that. We're damn lucky it didn't crush any of the trailers.
Свалилась. Лодка, ебать, перевернутая. Куда мы идем? С пятачком. Большой секрет.
It gets better. A local girl, Barbara Jagger, drowned in Cauldron Lake just a week earlier. They were lovers.
Sure, Jagger's a local spook story. The Scratching Hag comes for you in the dark. Childish stuff like that.
Anyway, Al, I'm just getting to the best part. All of the articles about this stuff were written by Cynthia Weaver. I asked around, and she's that crazy bag lady you met.
What, the lamp lady? She can be a little loopy, but she's not homeless.
А нахер мы к мусорке пришли?
Anyway, she knew
Скажи,
both
пожалуйста.
Jagger and Zane before they both died, and she had some kind of a breakdown.
Пиздец, блядь. Ты чё нас кругами будешь? Молоко не прокиснет? Или там не молоко? Что это такое? Хуй знает. Ну, откройте.
Welcome to... Oh dear, Mr. Wake. I'm so glad you're here.
Rose, you have my manuscript?
Oh,
Ну да,
oh yes.
скорее.
Yes. Please come in.
Hey, this is really good.
Rose,
Yes,
my manuscript. I really need it.
I understand. I know what you need. A muse to inspire you.
Oh, for Barry. She doesn't have anything.
Yeah, hey Al. Al, what's... Oh.
Barry! What?
Что это такое?
What?
Снотворное?
It's coming for you, hiding in my barber's skin. I'm too weak to stop it. You must turn the lights on.
I promised I'd come visit you and your lovely wife. You must finish what you started.
Стеревная старушка, блядь, тут появилась еще. Та-ра-та-ра-та-та.
Back to work, boy.
I felt nauseous, hungover. Only anger kept me going.
Ух,
I can't tell
ебанулся.
reality from dream anymore, but it seems I have an
Ух ты,
imaginary editor
нихуя
to help
себе.
me. She's an old woman in a
Я
funeral
прям
dress. I call her Barbara.
не я,
She's very
Алан у
strict.
кого-то
I'm
прям
getting faster and
кумир,
faster.
ебать.
My
Какой-то
manuscript has been
девки.
heavily revised. The editor
Rose
is
took a
getting
day
very
from me.
aggressive and
I
each
had
day
less than
gets
12
worse.
hours left to meet the
Sorry.
kidnapper. All I could do was get Barry into the car, work something out once I got on the road.
Promises me I can save Alice this way. She knows more of this than I do. About the complex
Кофеечек.
communication I'm attempting. About this place. It's work under similar
Нахуй ты меня
Welcome to the
вступил?
Oh Dear Diner. What can I get you today?
Понятно.
Coffee?
I couldn't work up much
Coffee.
hate for Rose. Something had used her to get to me and left its mark.
Иди нахуй что-нибудь
First
кофе,
refill is
блядь.
free. Milk and sugar on the counter there.
My
Ладно.
gun and flashlight
The Dark Presence is the main adversary in our game,
Здесь.
and you know, I wouldn't necessarily call it evil, but
Блядь, чё за чуваки нахуй тут появляются в углу, нахуй, сука, бесит, ебать.
we don't really want to explain the
Добраться
Dark
до
Presence in too
машины.
much detail. We kind of want it to remain a mystery, but
Сейчас доберемся.
let me say this much. It's definitely not human. It doesn't think the way we do. A good example of this would be when Wake actually escapes from the cabin. And he actually just sits there and writes the whole thing into the story, and the Dark Presence is right there, and it just doesn't understand what's going on. It doesn't work on that level of logic. On the other hand, it can be very devious. For example, it has no problems whatsoever using Alice and Rose against Wake in a very, very sort of,
Блядь, да съебись ты уже отсюда,
contrived
нахуй.
manner, and it works very well. We talked quite a bit about the Dark Presence being weak in the beginning of the game, and that's true as far as it goes, but it only refers to the foothold it has in our world. Now, it is strong. It is very, very strong and very, very big in its own world.
God knows what you've done to that poor girl.
This is Agent Nightingale, FBI! Get him up, Hemingway! You're under arrest! You move a muscle, I'll unload right in your goddamn face! Stay right where you are, Slane!
Нихуя как грубо, блядь.
What are? I'm standing right here, you goddamn maniac!
I hated to leave Barry behind, but there was no way I'd miss my appointment with the kidnapper.
Сбежать от полиции. Бежим, ебать. От легавых. Легаши. Блять, суки. Ебать, это полиция еще и не бегала. Да, блять. Ты можешь быстрее бежать, нет? Судя по всему, я оторвался, можно сказать. Что-то там валяется. Рукопись. Ебать. А вот эта хуйня. Ебать. Сука, здесь. Пизда, я пересрал. Так, давай отдышись. Значит, полиция, бежим дальше. Сука, у меня ни пистолета, ни фонарика, ни хуя. Опять эта хуета. Быстрее к свету. Блять, фонарик потух. Сука. На легашей нападает.
This horror was everywhere I went, circling me. The cops didn't stand a chance. They were after a writer, not a monster.
Эти идиоты всегда преследуют не тех, кого надо. Ебать. Меня спалили. Так, термос.
This is James. Mulligan, Thornton, come in. Over.
Thornton here. James, we got both Wheeler and Rose in custody. They didn't put up a fight or anything. Why, they were... Hey, come on. Sit down and give me that. James, Mulligan here. Over.
Go ahead, Mulligan. Over.
I could see the lights at the radio station in the distance.
А, вон она. Радиостанция. Ебать, это мне типа туда? Охуеть, там далеко. И у меня по-прежнему ничего нет. Ни пистолета, нифига.
I imagined that the broadcast tower in the distance was part of the local radio station. Maine seemed like a decent guy. Perhaps he could give me directions to the coal mine.
Что-то там справышку позарит, чувак. Ебануться, а у меня ж нихуя ничего нет.
Unnatural shadows clung to the gate. The darkness that was after me was trying to stop me. I wouldn't get through without
Жуткие тени, что-то там. Что-то про жуткие тени. Кофеечек. Так, что тут у нас? Ништяк. Запустили генератор. Наверное, чтобы было открыть. Сообщить, повторить попытку. Разрушить ворота. Пнуть. Самая лучшая починка, блин. Самая лучшая починка — это уебать. Так, а куда эта штука светит? Ебанусь. А чем мне их разрушать? А, фонариком, ёпта. Как я сразу-то не задумался. Вот этим вот здоровенным фонариком. Правильно? Полки тогда. Сука, он опять потух? Опять тут все не на месте. Так. Готово. Четко, четко. Ты сделал свою работу, дружище. Достигнуть контрольной точки. Блять, почему постоянно оружие куда-то, блин, девается? Постоянно его заново надо искать. О, фонарик. Фонарик, это хорошо. Отлично. Ребенок свои коррективы вносит. Ух ты, вот это чё-то новенькое. Блять, опять эта хуйня появилась. Нахуй ты мне тут
It started off as a simple spawning system, but as time went on, it evolved into something bigger. It actually now incorporates build-up as well. You hear the whispers and sounds that the darkness creates, and, well, the darkness itself actually appearing in the forest. It hides the enemies when they actually get close to you. On top of that, we have a reveal system which shows the first enemy attacking you, but we do it only once per combat. After that, you're on your own.
Офигенные штуки. Почему мне раньше такие не дали? Блять, я одну просто так потратил. К сожалению. О. Все берем, все нужно. Что-то там про KBFM, блять. Футболку тут кто оставил. Me too. Так, блять, ты куда идешь? Дуралей. Куда ты идешь? Нихуя сколько у вас тут. Так, еще 5 штук. Главное, чтобы еще давали. Блять, по экономии бы их использовать, конечно. О, что это там такое? Полицмен? А, полицейская машина. Бать, без этих, без всего. Севы падают. Суки. Испугали нахуй. Че это такое там вдалеке? Дерево горит, что ли? Нет, не дерево. Хуйня какая-то. Непонятно. Вывеска, что ли? Меня не трогать. Блять, вообще зачетная штука. Сам стоять нахер. Бояться. Так, свет. На свету все путем.
We don't see a lot of Pat Main in the game, but actually he has a considerable presence. One of the problems with Alan Wake was that we really wanted to maintain that small town atmosphere, but that's very hard to do when
Ебать, нахуя вот этих чуваков тут показывают, а? Нихера, блядь.
Also, I think RJ Allison, who plays Pat Main, did a wonderful job. He really nails the character, and it's so great to be alone in the dark and then hear that warm and dependable voice.
Well, thank you very much for that compassionate viewpoint, Lorna.
Открой, блядь.
Oh, here's a little surprise. The famous writer Alan Wake just walked in, folks. I'm gonna see if I can talk to him.
Дать интервью, блядь. Какой нахуй интервью, блядь?
Come on in, Mr. Wake.
It looks like Mr. Wake is going to need a moment.
Все.
Oh, I'm so glad you could find the time to do this, Mr. Wake.
Полиция?
Nowhere to run now, Dan Brown. You back away from me. Don't hurt.
Whoa. Everyone calm down. Put the gun down. We're all friends here, right?
Cool your jets, Nightingale. We got him. hell's the matter with you? There's a civilian in there.
Да, просто боевик. Это просто боевик. Опять бежать. Добраться до депо. Что-то у меня...
Here we have another really well set up journey. The train depot and the bridge in the distance, well visible from early on. As an interesting side note, this whole area was originally just a minor branch.
Главный герой что-то пиздит. И эта хуйня тут появляется, блядь.
With months of iteration and looking at the possibilities given by the environment, we found out that this area could have lots of organized events, could have hidden rooms and so forth. The bridge and the train depot all appearing far later in their development.
Так. Да будет свет, сказал электрик. У меня есть пистолет. Да, лучше, конечно, дробовик. Но это лучше, чем ничего. Это лучше, чем ничего.
There was no sensible reason for the power company work lights to be here. It was almost as if they'd been left for someone like me to use.
Где оставили? Револьвер, шмалая граната. Это очень хорошо. Есть граната. Включаем свет. Так, какая-то надпись, понятно. О! Нихуя, сколько вас тут. Блять, суки ебучие. Застали врасплох. Где, блядь, застрял? Так, отлично. Справился вроде. Блять. Под запасами завелся. Телефон.
Hello?
The most stubborn man I've ever met.
Alice? Alice?
Элис.
Alan, I'm so afraid. It keeps me in the dark. Please help me. I look at you, Alan, and it's not you. Something else. Looking out from behind your eyes.
Alice, I'm here.
I'm so alone here. It's all gonna go to hell. You need to be careful. Cooperate.
The connection had been terrible, but that wasn't the only thing that hadn't been right with the call. She sounded wrong somehow, but she had called me. I could see a railway bridge up ahead, and a warehouse of sorts.
Everybody knows the movie Poltergeist, but I wouldn't say that it was the origin for this idea. This game is about possession. It's about the dark presence taking over everything in the world. It started off with humans, and, well, in the design, the inanimate objects were the next logical step. One of the hardest things to do was to convey intent. The objects don't have any body language, unlike the Taken. How we ended up with the current feature was that the lead writer actually encountered a problematic physical object. It flickered around the terrain erratically, and you really couldn't tell what is going to happen next. And that ended up being a real feature. And here you can see the result.
Какого черта? Вот именно, ебать, какого черта? Ебануться.
Of some sort on the opposite shore.
Everybody knows the movie Poltergeist, but I wouldn't say that it was the origin for this idea. This game is about possession. It's about the dark presence taking over everything in the world. It started off with humans, and, well, in the design, the inanimate objects were the next logical step. One of the hardest things to do was to convey intent. The objects don't have any body language, unlike the Taken. How we ended up with the current feature was that the lead writer actually encountered a problematic physical object. It flickered around the terrain erratically, and you really couldn't tell what is going to happen next. And that ended up being a real feature. And here you can see the result.
Of some sort on the opposite shore.
Everybody knows the movie Poltergeist, but I wouldn't say that it was the origin for this idea. This game is about possession. It's about the dark presence taking over everything in the world. It started off with humans, and, well, in the design, the inanimate objects were the next logical step. One of the hardest things to do was to convey intent. The objects don't have any body language, unlike the Taken. How we ended up with the current feature was that the lead writer actually encountered a problematic physical object. It flickered around the terrain erratically, and you really couldn't tell what is going to happen next. And that ended up being a real feature. And here you can see the result.
Где вход, блядь?
As a teenager, just starting to get interested in writing, Stephen King had been a source of inspiration to me. I thought about all the inanimate objects that had come to life in his books. No one is safe in a good horror story. Certainly not the protagonist. That's what makes them fun. This was anything but. The darkness could possess anything, and it was getting closer.
Мне теперь мой фонарик был помощнее. И это круто. Батареечки. Патрончики. Угу, кофеечку вижу. Нахер я их только собираю, вообще не понимаю. Ну, вроде особо-то куда-то там заморачиваться не надо. Будем собирать. Патрон привыкает хорошо. Ух ты.
The darkness can take over almost anything. That includes machinery like vehicles. In the next scene you will see the bulldozer attacking you, and it might be familiar too from demos that have been shown in different shows before. I would like to say that plenty of thought and research went into this, but the fact is that it was...
We take the facts of our existence for granted, unaware that they are merely a thin veneer of desperate self-delusion, covering a vast cosmos of madness and horror. All too often, the stars are right. In Night Springs.
Чё, блять? Что за приколы? Я понял. У меня есть две эти. Мне надо с ними идти. Пока у него фаер горит. Съёбный трактор. Нет, это я пока приберегу. Блять. Ты можешь подойти к свету?
I had never been this glad to see the sunrise. I had a couple of hours to get to the coal mine. The coal mine wasn't far now.
Ух ты, как красиво.
Today, I would meet the kidnapper, and he would give me Alice. I wouldn't give him any other choice. A drowning man will clutch at a straw.
Идти к угольной шахте. Идем.
This daytime driving sequence is great to have in the final game, especially considering that it was a source of debate earlier on. It's fairly hard to actually see this kind of sequences, are they actually working or not, before we have the final environment, the mood, the sounds, and so forth. Of course, now it is great to have in the final game. It provides a very nice change of pace in the middle of episode 3, and it provides a great showcase for our technology, our views, and also it's great to see the environment that you usually see in the night, covered in shadows and in fog, in its full glory.
Ну что, далеко до этой шахты? Так, ладно. Мне кажется, я не туда иду. Или туда. Все-таки туда. Сейчас день, значит, мне ничего не угрожает. Это хорошо. Подбирать нечего. Ну-ка, глянем наверху, что там. Чем тут у нас? Точка. Прокачка. Радио беспонтовое, бесполезное. Ритмически непонятно, мне на балконе зайти или здесь. По сути, не суть важно. Подожди, я могу машину взять? Че, пешком-то иду? О, отлично. На машине-то повеселее будет. Причем расстояние, походу, приличное, ебать. О, я могу любую тачку взять. Прикольно. Надеюсь, на этой вышке что-нибудь интересное есть. Нифига тут интересного. Только радио. Зря только я остановился. Давай прокатимся на вот этой. Muscle Car. О, бля, как кричит.
The feel of history and roots is somehow very present in the whole Pacific Northwest area. It's one of those things that lends the unique feel to this region. This was once a very inaccessible and thus isolated region, but in the turn of the 19th and 20th century, as railroads started getting built, it was suddenly connected to the rest of the country. This greatly benefited industries like mining, for example, because now ore could easily be transported across vast distances. Towards 1960s and 1970s, mining steadily declined, but this area is still filled with all sorts of landmarks and reminders of that once blooming industry. To me, these kinds of things really matter because they are the reason behind why things are and look the way they are. So, long story short, decaying structures like old train carts and mining structures and tipple buildings are really a part of the history of this area, and that's all the reason we needed to include one of those beautiful tipple buildings as a location in the game. As many of its real-world counterparts, it serves now as a museum.
I was early. I was supposed to meet the kidnapper at noon in the main building. The coal mine was quiet. It was a museum now.
Теперь здесь был музей. Прочитаем. В 1970-м случилось извержение вулкана под озером Колдрон. Хотя оно было сравнительно слабым, большинство глубинных треков валились и были затоплены во время катастрофы. Погибли 300 шахтера и горная добыча в районе Брайтфоллс полностью прекратилась. Теперь многие из сохранившихся сооружений хранятся закон как исторические памятники. Прикольно. А вот то, что люди погибли, это печально. Ух ты. Сцена.
I didn't want to go outside. Cops had to be looking for me. The noon sun turned the place into a sauna. The day dragged on. Different scenarios ran through my mind. Ways of how I'd torture the kidnapper to get Alice back. Or the different horrible things he could have done to her. I imagined her dead. I had no way of knowing she was still alive. It was killing me. I was running on blind hope. It was all a waste of time. The bastard never showed up.
Where the hell are you?
Change of plans. You know where Mirror Peak is? It's a big mountain north of where you are. You follow the path from the mine, you can't miss it. There's a lookout point there. I'll be waiting.
I'm through being jerked around
You
by you.
want to see your wife alive? Because if you do, you better watch what you say to me. Do we understand each other?
I want to talk to Alice.
Yeah, and I want the manuscript. Don't keep me waiting, Wake.
Hello? Hello? Ah! I'm gonna kill him.
Нас наебали.
I
Alan
have to
Wake.
get to Mirror Peak.
В смысле? Что за нахуй?
It was close. Maybe closer than ever before.
Что за прикол? Как мне отсюда съебывать? Выйти из здания. Я бы с радостью, блядь. Прыгать нахуй. Что-то там вижу. Что-то там вижу. Ага, это надо. Кофеек, куда же без него-то, блядь. 25 термосов. Патрон для маньяка, для револьвера. Так. Ух ты. Типа какой-то аварийный выход.
Okay, now this whole kidnapping thing is a red herring, of course.
Yeah, это вы
It's just an
заебали,
attempt to manipulate
блядь.
Wake and to get him to deliver the manuscript.
Чё?
The so-called kidnapper, Mott, well,
Патрон.
he doesn't have Alice. He doesn't know where Alice is, and neither does Dr. Hartman, the guy who's hired Mott.
Полон.
But they do know that Wake will do anything to get Alice back, so, you know, they use her. They're nice people like that. The problem is that Wake doesn't have the manuscript at all. He doesn't know where it is. He has a couple of pages, but of course, that's not enough. So, they're lying to Wake about having Alice, and Wake is lying to them about having the manuscript, and nobody has much of anything. It doesn't end very well for Mott, you know, who is going to get his in a couple of minutes, or no, a little longer. And Dr. Hartman doesn't have such a great day either. What can I say? Karma's a bitch.
Нихуя, блядь. Жестко. Это было жестко. Так, батарейки надо экономить. Больше никто не будет нападать, надеюсь. вышки, да? Ты не можешь так прыгать. А, вон же проход есть. Вот же проход. О, гранаты, это хорошо. Так, хорошо. Так, куда дальше? Пять. Какой-то завозил, вообще не понимаю. Я пришел вроде оттуда. Так, чисто удостовериться. Да. Все же надо как-то залазить наверх. Как-то там дальнейший путь меня ждет. Открыть. Открыл. Дверь. Нихуя себе. На смотровую площадку. Так, стоп, вот же лестница.
The only way to reach the hillside ahead was to go through the building. I had to find a way to avoid electrocution.
Так, электричество надо вырубить. Я понял. Электричество, наверное, он в том здании вырубается. О, тут парни бегут. Отлично, справились. О, у меня прям полный арсенал скопился. Все. Свет вырубили. Ебанусь, иди нахуй. Полтергейст ебучий. Так, чуваки. Так. Нет. Их много. Когда их много. Так. Ты нихуя себе, блядь. Вот что можно было еще использовать. Как мне... вот. Лестницу. Кофеек. Прям до боли знаком. Это просто похоже. Нихуя себе. Эта херня меня пугает, да? Что меня напугать?
There was no way the flashbang grenades were standard power company equipment.
Почему машину не могу использовать? Ух ты. Три гранаты, это очень хорошо. Потому что вот они, блядь. Ясно. Ну, блять, ну как так-то, а? Прыжки — это просто моя фишка. Блять, дебил.
Our technology enables us to have a set of ready-made landscape types that tile seamlessly with each other and can be used to quickly lay out large sections of terrain, instantly creating realistic landscapes. These biotypes, as we call them, contain lots of different information about the resulting shape of the terrain. Things like what the ground is comprised of, is it mud, rocks, or grass, and what grows on it, different kind of foliage and trees, and also its bumpiness. So we don't manually build every square meter of forest that there is in the game, but instead focus our efforts on creating these biotypes so realistic that they can be used to cover a patch of terrain of almost any size and still look realistic. We then cover the terrain with patches of different biotypes that go together very well before finally going over the area with a precision polish. Our technology enables us to have a set of ready-made landscape types that tile seamlessly with each other and can be used to quickly lay out large sections of terrain, instantly creating realistic landscapes. These biotypes, as we call them, contain lots of different information about the resulting shape of the terrain. Things like what the ground is comprised of, is it mud, rocks, or grass, and what grows on it, different kind of foliage and trees, and also its bumpiness. So we don't manually build every square meter of forest that there is in the game, but instead focus our efforts on creating these biotypes so realistic that they can be used to cover a patch of terrain of almost any size and still look realistic. We then cover the terrain with patches of different biotypes that go together very well before finally going over the area with a precision polish.
dark presence was moving ahead of me in the same direction I was going. A cold feeling settled itself in the pit of my stomach. Was it going for Alice?
The graveyard shift may cause cancer.
The place was dead, a ghost town. Had been for decades, maybe a century.
Что за нахуй? Ебанусь. Ты, блядь. Нихуя.
Everything outside of writing is a struggle. I feel ill. I managed to make my way downstairs. There's a shoebox filled with books and papers by Thomas Zane. It's very hard to focus, but I managed to read some of it. He's a poet, and a good one. He writes of muses and creators summoning fabulous things from a magic lake, using his powers to shape the world of a realm of gods and dreams and demons, dark things that wait for a chance to slip through, wearing the flesh of men as disguise. Zane writes about himself, his girlfriend being taken over by a dark presence, about growing scared of the lake. Zane believes it's a mirror to the gaping void of darkness above, where some Lovecraftian presence lurks. I crawl back upstairs. I'll borrow these things for my story. The kidnapper had sent me a text. The message was full of spelling errors and insults. It was telling me to hurry up.
Не сюда.
Birds.
Бля, сука.
Birds.
We chose birds as our only
Да,
animal
пьянь,
in time.
блять, а.
The main reason being that the birds actually bring something new to the table, an extra dimension. We try to think through the whole package of the player experience. Plan is to look down for bear traps, look ahead for taken, and look up for the birds.
Меня кто-то зовет. Стопы.
The guys who did this mind puzzle, Antti and Tiago, did a really amazing job here. This is again one of the cases where we started with a very low-key design requirement, just something to occupy the player for a moment. But with iteration, looking at what works, what not, we actually got this amazing sequence which does what it's supposed to do. It looks complex, it looks imposing, but it's very intuitive to play, and I hope you actually enjoy going through it. The guys who did this mind puzzle, Antti and Tiago, did a really amazing job here. This is again one of the cases where we started with a very low-key design requirement, just something to occupy the player for a moment. But with iteration, looking at what works, what not, we actually got this amazing sequence which does what it's supposed to do. It looks complex, it looks imposing, but it's very intuitive to play, and I hope you actually enjoy going through it.
Чуть не мимо, нахуй. Пиздец, блядь. Нахуй так замудрёно придумали. Что? Все, наконец-то. Наконец-то. Да, блять. Все. Что это означает? Что это, сука, означает? Куда мне дальше? Так, ладно, допустим.
In a similar vein to how we handled the different types of terrain with biotypes, we have a preset system for weather styles as well. The game engine lets us control numerous parameters, things like cloudiness, wind, rain, and also lighting parameters, things like color, intensity, and blooming, to create truly stunning weather effects. Using this technology, we have created a palette of ready-made weathers that can be called upon at any time, so really it is weather on demand at the push of a button. Each level has its own, or sometimes many, different styles of ambience, and so their own mood.
Здесь это все. Что, блядь? Куда они бегут? Эти идиоты. Кто уже, блядь, это ебучего места, блядь. Охуенно, блядь. Чего? А. Так. Чё это? Книжки закрыто. Как мне туда попасть? А, вот как. А, вот еще. Что там? Патроны, это хорошо. Здесь что? Так, он еще что-то пропустил. Блять.
I could see Cauldron Lake. I thought I could make out the spot where the island and the cabin had been. There was a light near it. It had to be a boat. I was close now. I had to get there fast. I dreaded what I would find.
Wait! Are you?
Что?
Hey, I'm here! I'm coming!
No! Get away! Sorry. Please, lady. The boss didn't know who he was messing with. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know.
Что?
We don't have his wife. We don't know where she is. She's probably drowned. We just said we had her to make him play ball. You see?
Это же прикол. Блять, прям кино, не игра. Ну вот и все. Закончился третий эпизод. А соответственно наш стрим. Соответственно, стрим тоже заканчивается. Большое спасибо всем, кто смотрел. Большое спасибо за лайки. Подписывайтесь на мой канал, комментируйте. Приходите еще. Продолжим завтра, примерно в это же время. Всем пока, всем до новых встреч.